Hello, podcast listeners. We know podcasts are a great way to catch up on a program that you may have missed on KSJE, and it's provided as a free service of this radio station. But you know, KSJE is now listener-supported, and so while you enjoy this podcast, we hope that you'll also take some time to join KSJE. Become a member today. It's quite easy to do. Just go to our website at ksje.com/support and pick the level of support that best matches your budget. Thanks again for listening. Here's your podcast. This program is supported by San Juan Health Partners Urology, providing a wide range of personalized services for the whole family, including children. Our caring professionals are dedicated to helping meet your urology health needs with skill, experience, and service you need. For a complete listing of our services and to learn more, visit sanjuanhealthpartners.com or call 505-609-6300. San Juan Health Partners Urology, a division of San Juan Regional Medical Center. Joining me now in our visual radio studio to talk about economic development in Farmington and the Outdoor Recreational Industry Initiative, Warren Unsicker is here with me this morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Pleasure to be here again.
Welcome back. It has been a while. You've been a busy person, and so we finally got you back over here to talk a little bit about your changing responsibilities a little bit, and now you're fully ensconced in the city of Farmington.
It's a great word for it.
Is it? Okay, good. And so welcome back. It's great to have you here. You brought with you all kinds of different paraphernalia regarding ORI, the Outdoor Recreation Industry Initiative.
Yes.
And so
it's a mouthful, but it is an important one.
It is. It is a mouthful. And again, you've got a sticker on my window and everything. If we look over at the Math Science Hall camera that we've got here at our visual radio studio, but folks should probably be seeing these around town more and more, correct?
Absolutely. These are a nice little bumper sticker you can put on your windows, and makes for a nice little note, the fact that you're supporting outdoor recreation in Farmington, and so it helps jolt your journey too. It's got
it does jolt my
Farmington
journey.
Jolt,
yes, it does.
Logo on there. So
that's very true.
We're definitely working to try and get the word out that outdoor recreation is something that is large and in charge here in Farmington and the San Juan County area. There's a huge push to attract the industry around outdoor recreation and just to highlight all the great amenities that we have around town. So.
Sure. And it seems like the state has kind of jumped on our bandwagon. I call them copycats because at the legislative session, the state decided to have its own statewide office of outdoor recreation, right?
Yeah. So
could that help your efforts?
Absolutely. So it was put into the Economic Development Department's purview. They're going to have a new director of outdoor recreation as well. My understanding is that hopefully that'll be appointed sometime in early July. So we'll have a new ally and someone that we can work with. I already have a great relationship with the Economic Development Department, so that will just be one more piece of the puzzle that'll be a great person to be a point of contact, and someone that'll hopefully look to us for the lead in certain pieces of this process. So we're trying to set the bar and set it high.
Excellent. And so with all this going on, a lot of folks may be wondering what this means to them. If I'm a city resident, a resident of even San Juan County, because it's more of a regional effort, I know.
Right.
But the idea is to diversify the economy.
Sure.
To attract more visitors to Farmington to enjoy the built-in amenities that we already have here of outdoor space and recreation and things like that. That's really kind of the baseline for what we're talking about.
Sure. And so, a lot of the reasons why this became such a push is because it's low-hanging fruit. It's not something we have to build up in order to be able to take advantage of. The infrastructure, which is the great outdoors, is already here.
Right.
And so we just haven't capitalized on it. We've never really seen it as a resource we should take and turn into businesses. It's been just more something that residents that feel so inclined go out and take advantage of, and they know where the trails are and they go to their spots. But now we want to make sure that it's accessible to anyone and everyone that comes to Farmington in the San Juan County area to be able to get to those assets. I'm sure everyone's seen the great signs that were put up around town that point you to all the amenities. I know that I was driving out to Penny Lane, boat put in for the Riverfest raft race, and I didn't have to put it in my GPS because there was a sign on the highway. I got off the highway, there was another sign on the Old Aztec Highway Road there, and it took me all the way in to the actual place where I was going without me having to punch in directions. So I mean, that's a huge benefit to the region, as opposed to you should go to Penny Lane and and they're like, yeah, where's that again?
It's past the third rock on the left.
Precisely, and so that makes a huge difference in just the accessibility of outdoor recreation assets here.
And this is geared not just for locals like yourself, but for tourists who may not be familiar with our strange road system here, or look for County Road 3099 or whatever it is, or if they speak a different language or what have you.
It's very visual, absolutely.
And I think we see these in other places. If we go as a tourist to visit places, we see some of these signs, and that we are finally playing with the big boys, I think.
It is a huge benefit, and something that I will hopefully engage more locals to take advantage of things that they may not have known were there.
Right.
But really
I didn't know there was a bike trail off this road or in this direction.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, that's a huge benefit. But that's just one piece of the puzzle, and that's something that is part of building up for the attraction of the business piece. And so the other part of the equation is, so the tagline for Ori is nature's playground, nature's proving ground. So that's the playground piece.
Right.
The proving ground is bringing in the businesses that create the products around outdoor recreation. So, it's not just tourism jobs. It's jobs around, building bikes. It's, building rafts. You look at, we got 505 Cycles that does custom bikes. You've got Arrow over at Jack's Plastic Welding in Aztec that builds rafts and inflatables. So that's the type of thing we're trying to attract more of, is those outdoor recreation manufacturers. It takes advantage of the skills we already have here. Folks like Largo Tank actually produce camper beds for flatbed trucks. Another, something you wouldn't have even thought of. It's a great asset for the region that they're building these things. And so it's retooling some of our workforce. It's providing new opportunities for some of our existing businesses that may be looking to diversify their product lines, or it's bringing in and attracting new businesses to the area. And so it's something that takes advantage of the existing skill sets that we already have here, and hopefully builds upon some new ones here. So, and by no means is this the only target that we have. We have a lot of other industry targets that we're going after, but this again was kind of a low-hanging fruit that we're putting some additional effort into to really kind of make a name for ourselves and to draw some attention on a national stage.
And that's another part of the conversation, I think, too, Warren Unsicker, about gaining attention, because a lot of folks might be saying, well, why would anyone want to relocate their business here if they're already in a Salt Lake City or a Denver or a Boulder or whatever? And I guess the answer might be because you don't have a 90-minute commute to get to the office, or you can leave the office and in 10 minutes be on a mountain bike trail and test your bike or whatever it is.
Precisely right, and the cost of living is significantly lower than a lot of those places. And, that is a major detriment to a lot of people to have to drive 90 minutes both ways just to get to work. I mean, that's a hard road.
I can't even. Just, in the words of a millennial, I just can't even.
And so we want to encourage those people to come and have a greater quality of life, be able to go enjoy the outdoors on their lunch break, or right after work, and just literally jump on their bike and head out on trails. We're actually Isaac Blue Eyes with our streets and public works department has put together a great plan to expand our bike trails around town, to interconnect them better to get around town. So you could literally bike to work and then go out onto a trail and go jump in the lake or the river or wherever you want to go. It's just starting to be interconnected, and hopefully it'll start to be interconnected too around the county. Have these loops of trails that you can go on day trips and various different things. So
as the word gets out about this region and area about this, is that what you're hoping to attract? Is the attention of maybe some relocation specialist at a company in some of these bigger places with a higher cost of living and maybe less quality of life, perhaps?
Sure. Yeah, well, that, and two, it's a workforce attraction tool. So, when a young or family is looking to relocate, or when someone's looking to retire, or they're looking for a new place to start their career, or maybe even their business, if they hear about the fact that this is a place where they can enjoy the outdoors and it's great quality of life, low cost of living, they might say, hey, I want to locate my business there. I want to move there and find a job later. And that's what a lot of people are doing at this point, is just moving to where they want to be, and then they figure it out. And so that, I think, is going to start happening as we start getting notoriety, and we already are getting some notoriety on a national stage. I know the Outdoor Industry Association published an article on, is this Four Corners town going to become the next Moab? And the nice thing about that thought is we have far more capability to manage an influx of people than Moab does, just by the sheer nature of we have more stores, more hotels, more street infrastructure, more places to go,
Right.
and more things to do than just rock climbing or off-roading and things like that. So it makes for that prospect not being as daunting for us as a community, because we handle influxes of 100,000 people on weekends all the time.
True.
And it's not a huge imposition because it's just part of life here.
The city has been built up that way
Precisely.
to accommodate those folks.
We frequently say, we're not, while we're a city of 41,000, we serve a population base that is much, much larger than that. And so we have amenities that are more common with a 100,000 person community than a 40,000 person community. So,
True, and we appreciate that.
Yeah,
those of us that
very
live
much
here,
so.
I think, appreciate some of those extra amenities
Yes.
that unique station brings to all of us.
Right, absolutely.
And so you mentioned earlier that this is low-hanging fruit, some of the things that the
Yes.
Ori initiative is talking about and promoting and working, I think, hand in hand with the Convention and Visitors Bureau and their branding
Right,
and
yeah.
all of their marketing efforts and things like that. But the city is spending some money on some things that maybe kind of dovetail into what we're talking about,
Yes,
such
exactly
as
right.
our Bistai Bay water park, and that is a major investment, I think. The
Yeah,
city would agree.
yeah.
You'd probably agree with me.
Yeah, yeah.
Millions of dollars, and maybe some zip lining and some other outdoor type
Right.
attractions that the city can help to maybe grease the wheels to get a private contractor to come in or a private business owner to maybe take advantage of. Is that the idea too?
Absolutely. And so, we're looking at the aerial adventures, which would be
Yes.
the zip line over Lake Farmington. We've done a feasibility analysis and now looking at, how do we maybe partner with some businesses to try and get that done, because I think that'd be a huge attraction, not only for our area, but for beyond, and something that could keep people here. That's the other key, is that we want them to come, but we also want them to stay. And we want them to stay for a few days and take advantage. Go, play at the lake and do the zip line one day, and then go out and golf Pinion Hills the next, and then go out and visit the Bistai Badlands the next day and stay a few days. And so that's really the goal, is to keep people longer. But again, likewise, to build up that culture of having outdoor recreation to attract people from the outside in, and hopefully bring their businesses and their workforce here. So,
Right. And isn't part of that too to attract the tourists who are already coming to the area? We know how many visitors Aztec Ruins gets and Chaco Canyon get, but
Exactly right.
they're not maybe staying here, and maybe something of a different attraction would get them to change their
Right.
overnight
right.
stay
Ch-
ideas.
Yeah, change their patterns, because we have a lot of people that pass right through on their way to Durango, but if we can capture them and keep them here a couple of days, they may decide, we'll stay in Farmington, we'll go and do our various different day trips in each direction, and we're closer to a lot of different things at that point.
Right.
So, you're more central here in Farmington, so it's a huge opportunity to capture those people and keep them here longer.
Right. And nothing against Durango, but I would say
No, absolutely.
but for a family and even for individuals, Farmington I think is a lot more affordable.
Correct,
if you're traveling. I know Durango has a variety of places to
Yeah,
stay and things like that, but I think if you've got a van full of kids,
Right.
Our hotels may be a better deal.
Right.
And then if you can throw them in the pool or let them go to the pool and relax and zip line or whatever, that may be some things to put us on their map.
Yeah, take them to Lake Farmington on the beach there and let them have some fun. And then, the nice thing is that as you're outfitting and getting ready to go out on your adventures, we have so much in the way of retail to be able to access and get kind of geared up, so to speak.
True.
And so that helps immensely as well. But in that again, back from the playground over to the proving ground,
Yes.
one of the big ways we're trying to catalyze that is heading out to what's called the Outdoor Retailer Show. So that is next week.
Okay.
We're taking a contingency of, I believe, 17 people from around the city, different agencies and different community partners that were all heading out to Denver for the Outdoor Recreation Show. I think you've got our
I'm
lovely
showing your
backdrop
smiling
right there,
faces
yes.
right now. That
And-
looks like you
yeah.
and maybe Jamie Church from the
Yes,
Chamber of
yeah,
Commerce,
the
and help me identify the other folks if you can.
Yeah, no, we have Dale and his wife Rhonda from 505 Cycles.
Thank you.
We have Roman McCabe from the college's very own equipment rental facility there. So,
Right.
I mean, it makes for, again, we're bringing the people that know the industry and know the landscape to really sell what Farmington has to offer to the outdoor recreation businesses here. And again, it's called Outdoor Retailer, but that's because these are all the businesses that make the products you see on the shelves, hawking their goods to the retailers.
Okay.
And so we're going there to try and catch them and say, hey, yeah, we love your product. We love what you're doing. Why don't you come make it here? and why don't you manufacture it here? We've got workforce, we've got places to stay, we've got places to test your product everywhere.
Right.
And literally we can do every type of outdoor recreation activity short of saltwater activities. But I mean, we have a beach.
Yeah.
We have windsurfing out on Lake Morgan.
You do.
I mean, you've got most of the saltwater piece except for the jellyfish, which I mean, really, that's a
Who wants to
benefit
deal
of
with that?
anything else,
That's
right?
true. Exactly. And we've got office space and other
Yeah,
warehouse space, I would
absolutely.
suppose, that would be available, or build a suit or whatever. I mean, there's plenty of those opportunities too.
Correct, yeah. And so, no, we're making a full court press. You can see the great branding that's being put together. We're going to be wearing our branded shirts here. I'll try and show this.
There he is. Okay, your Ori design on. You're all. You look like a Boy Scout.
Right? Yeah. And so we're really trying to showcase what Farmington has to offer.
Sure.
Leave them with a good impression that hopefully they come back. We're going to be handing out cards to, basically invite them out to the community to come scope it out. Come stay a day. Come do a day trip or an overnight trip and take advantage of some of the amenities that we have here.
So for folks who aren't familiar, just how big is this show? Is this one of the biggest?
It is a very large show, and it actually moved from Salt Lake City to Denver, and it takes up the entirety of that convention center from stem to stern.
Wow.
Hundreds and thousands of vendors that are set up and ready to sell their goods, and so great opportunity to interface with a lot of great businesses, and they tend to be more personable, and you actually see the owners of a lot of these businesses, which is great, and a huge opportunity to make an impression and say, we'd love to have you come produce this here. And so we're very hopeful that the mayor's going, the city manager's going, with some clout behind us, we might be able to just kind of seal the deal with some of these businesses on site, with that level of decision-making power and people out there. But
does that maybe make it appear and really so that the city's serious about wheeling and dealing with these people?
Yeah, well, that wheeling and dealing is a strong word, but yeah, that's
or coming to an agreement or something.
We're there to we're serious about making this happen, and we're serious about helping and catalyze their business in this area. And that's really the thing that it comes down to, is that you have support when you come here. We'll have Tanya Stinson there too to showcase the marketing side, that they've already done a phenomenal job of getting that branding out there. They really kind of laid the groundwork of this outdoor recreation piece to show that we have what it takes. We have the opportunities, the Jolt Your Journey brand.
That's right.
I mean, this Jolt Your Journey is really a big thing for folks that to just know that when you come here, it's where outdoor lovers and active families thrive. And so that tagline hopefully builds into the what we're trying to sell these folks, and likewise letting them know that you're not going to be just going out into the wilderness, so to speak. You're going to be coming into our wilderness, and that we're going to guide you through it, and we're going to provide you with help with marketing and getting the word out, and we're going to provide you with assistance finding space and helping with training workforce here at the college. And so they're not going to be alone in that endeavor. I know we're prototyping here at the Makerspace and things like that. So I mean, we have a robust and compelling argument for these folks to be able to showcase how we can help them start their business or relocate their business here. So.
Sure. And of course, the cynic in me, and I think it's all great, but the cynic in me is going to say, but you're going to be at this show, and I imagine there are other communities also at this show vying for attention.
Not as many as you would think. That a lot. This show, again, really does focus on the retailer to product producer relationship. I see. And so there's a few of us out there, but it's not the grand majority of the quote-unquote competition, so to speak.
I see.
So I think we are not standing alone, but we definitely are, kind of a few mixed into the broader landscape of the event.
And you have the messaging that describes how unique that Farmington, New Mexico is compared to any other locality that may show up at this show. Is that true?
And so we're going to actually have a booth there at the facility, as you can see the backdrop that we had up there. And we're actually partnering with New Mexico Partnership, the state's marketing arm for economic development, and they're going to have a large 20 by 40 booth with lots of different communities from around the state. But we're going to have a very prominent imagery that will really, I think, set us apart not only at the show but in the booth, and really showcase the fact that we're serious about outdoor recreation.
Sure.
And so
imagery and branding and all that other stuff that marketers say, brings back that top of mind awareness, I guess, right? Is that what you're working on too?
Absolutely. And so hopefully, even if we don't seal a deal then, they'll take home a tchotchke or something that we hand to them with our branding on it.
Right.
We'll give them a USB drive that has all our information on it that they can take home with them.
Something with a footprint on it, maybe.
Just something with a footprint on it. Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we even buy business cards and everybody that. We've got these stickers that look like that footprint that have our booth number that we'll be slapping on people's backpacks and handing out in bulk. And so
exactly.
That's the goal, is to really push that and encourage people to be there. So
excellent. And so, and I know this has been going on for a little bit of time. I know the CVB, the Convention and Visitors Bureau, has been working on the marketing for a number of years. And
that branding has been very important. Yeah.
Exactly. And are we beginning to see a little bit of kind of payback on those efforts? I think we are, with more visitors or more tourists and things along that line, and people that know when they hear Farmington. I think we were talking about this before we came on the air this morning, that there are, I don't know how many Farmingtons in the country,
right,
but a number of cities with the name Farmington. And I think what we have achieved is that when people hear Farmington, the first thing that comes to mind is the Farmington in New Mexico, not Connecticut, not Maine, nothing against those places, not Missouri, but the Farmington people know about or have heard about is Farmington, New Mexico.
Yes, and I think that goes a long way in helping us in our endeavor, that people can kind of make that connection. Being in the Four Corners, it does give us some notoriety, and even the branding, the Jolt Your Journey is the Four Corners and showcases this is where Farmington is in that big, broad landscape. And so I think that's going to be a huge difference in helping people understand where we are and who we are. And so I'm very excited to see that coming to fruition. And the thing to remember, too, is if you haven't seen it around as much yourself, it's because a lot of the marketing is outbound.
Sure.
It's not necessarily as local. It's to bring those tourists in and those people in. So that Jolt Your Journey marketing. And in fact, I think, too, they're even looking more local, too. And I think there's one that says, we see you, Colorado. And it's kind of a cheeky, little thing of like, we see your license plates going around.
We know you come down here.
Yeah, we know you're here. Stay a little bit longer, essentially, kind of putting out some, regional marketing. Same to, encouraging or basically thanking the Navajo Nation for all that they do to come into our space.
Sure.
And saying, welcome and thank you kind of thing.
Right.
And so, seeing the interconnectivity of our market here, too, and really branding and marketing and saying, y'all come and please come take advantage of all these great assets.
Yeah, I think some folks have been surprised to see maybe walking through the airport in Dallas that maybe there's a poster for Farmington, New Mexico, and a Jolt Your Journey reminder and things along those lines. And that's what you're talking about. That is how the Convention and Visitors Bureau is spending those marketing dollars to target people who don't live here, but
to
that
bring
may
them in.
travel here.
Exactly right.
And so that's...
Yeah, we want to build up more businesses that can capture those folks when they get here and keep them here longer, because that's going to be where the money pays off, is by keeping them here for 2, 3, 4 night stay, and then them dropping their money and then going home. That's what we want. We want give us
don't
your money and go
just
home.
Go. Yeah.
Stay, but go.
Come back next year.
Come back, and tell your friends.
Right. Or if you want to, sell your house and move back here, by all means.
Even better. Yeah, exactly. So that's the encouragement we want to have for people, is to feel at home while they're here, and hopefully come back and share that with others. So
very good.
That's the goal. But we're excited about that, and we'll definitely give kind of an overview of how that went. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think we're going to have a lot of...
How long will you be in Denver? How long is the show?
It's a 3-day show.
Okay.
We'll be there a little bit early to get set up and get people ready to roll.
So basically this weekend, probably, is what
well, no, it's in the middle of the week, oddly enough.
Oh, it's next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we'll be there for a few days, and
nice.
like I say, we'll be marching around in teams and schools of Farmington people with our logoed shirts and stickers slapped all over everything that isn't nailed down, and
hit the floor, press the flesh.
Yes,
all
exactly,
that stuff.
all that.
Excellent. My guest this morning, Warren Unsicker, is here with me. He is the City of Farmington's Economic Development Director. He is also now in charge of ORI, the Outdoor Industry Recreation. I'm messing up again. Outdoor Recreation Industry Initiative. ORI. Perfect. Is the acronym. Sorry.
Yes. No, you're fine.
And so you've kind of taken over those duties after the retirement of Corey Styron from the city.
Yeah, and so some of my duties have merged with the ORI initiative, and so again, it's an economic development driver that we're pushing towards. So there's a lot of synergy there, and Shauna Reeves too, with our Parks Department, is working very diligently on the infrastructure build out that we're working on. The the Vista Bay at Brookside Park.
Thank you. Right, which is the
whole
big water park
correct,
and pool facility that's being built.
And all the trail systems that we're trying to expand. We actually just went and did kind of a tour of all the trails from stem to stern along the river to figure out where's some gaps and interconnectivity that we can make that will make that experience more holistic, and that you can go from all the way from downtown all the way up to Gateway Park and beyond, or the Gateway Museum, and make it a great bike ride or walk or whatever it may be along the river. And it's already a fantastic river trail, but having that interconnectivity will be just that much more fun and more of a day-long experience if you wanted to. So.
Right. If I'm not mistaken, was there not a ribbon cutting of a trail to Farmington Lake, like from the Glade
absolutely.
area? Is that another new?
And that's a mountain biking trail.
Yes.
And so that's another huge asset, adding that up at the lake. Again,
to link these two resources together.
Right. Well, and the beauty of that is you can go camp up there, and then you can go take advantage of the lake, and then you can go on bike rides. I mean, it creates that thing that makes you want to stay longer.
Right.
And so more of that kind of, again, holistic outdoor recreation experience is going to keep people here and keep them talking about Farmington as a asset and somewhere that they want to be.
Sure. Now let me change gears just a little bit, and I want to ask you about the food hub, because that's another potentially economic development idea.
Yeah.
And the college has a piece of that and is helping to make that possible.
Yeah.
And again, as what seems to always happen, it doesn't happen without the partnerships of other entities in the community that all seem to work together. And I really think we're blessed, maybe more than other areas of the state or of the country, that we get entities like the city, the college, maybe the county, working together to make these things happen. And I think we see a lot of that.
And so, we were very pleased to be able to present last night at council the opportunity to partner with the college on the space for and they'll get the name right, it's the Harvest Kitchen and Food Hub.
Okay.
And so,
which we've talked about on this program. For regular viewers and listeners of this program, you should remember talking about the Food Hub in Farmington. So
I'm sure Erin came and talked about it with you, and Judy Castleberry and Dr. Reyes over at the Equality Center for Business are working diligently to put this together. It's really exciting. They're applying for additional grants to get kitchen equipment, but it's going to have be almost similar to the makerspace in the sense that it's, instead of making hard goods and products widgets, it's making foodstuffs. It's creating the opportunity to catalyze that agricultural economy that we have here that hasn't, it's kind of lying fallow, for to use an agricultural term,
right, yes.
To really catalyze that and make it something that is kind of brings it all together, because right now we do have a lot of disparate smaller farms that are producing great product, but it's hard to get it to market. And so the hub piece,
they don't want to grow it if they can't sell it.
Right, exactly. And so the hub piece of the equation is to aggregate that foodstuffs and bring multiple farmers and multiple farms into one place so that we can have enough critical mass of product, or be able to store product in dry storage or cold storage, enough to be able to give the opportunity for larger users to buy their products and know that it's been handled safely and that there's consistency of product and things like that.
And the quality's there and all those things. And
those things.
And the big users are things like maybe the
college,
the
school,
hospitals, school districts that would need maybe not just a head of lettuce, but maybe 200 head of lettuce.
Correct. Yeah, and they need to ensure that and part of that too is training people how to make sure that things are safe and the food handling, and so they'll have a classroom space there as well to teach people on various different things: food prep, food safety, food just best practices. And so the other piece of that equation is the food entrepreneur, and so the people that want to take their raw product and turn it into an end product. And so again, taking and catalyzing that makerspace type of feel around foodstuffs, they'll have a test kitchen there.
Right.
And so that'll give people the ability to process their food, and then they have cold storage and freezers and things that'll be built into it as well, and be able to actually package it and process it and sell it, hopefully. And so it'll catalyze new businesses in that sphere, in the agricultural sphere, that we haven't been able to necessarily do as well here. So whoever wants to make their salsa or a new bar or a granola or whatever it is, they can actually come and do that. And so it's a huge opportunity, again, from an entrepreneurial perspective, to help catalyze those businesses that may have just kind of been waiting in the wings to have that capability that they couldn't necessarily afford on their own. Because, I mean, a commercial kitchen is not cheap.
Right.
The level and grade of equipment that you need to meet USDA standards and various different things is not something that everybody just has sitting in their kitchen at home.
Right.
And so this
you can't make a product for sale to the public without that.
Right, exactly. And so this will really help and catalyze that opportunity for folks that have those ideas, that have that skill set, to be able to utilize their skills in a way that produces a new business for the area. So.
And it seems almost to me, some of these conversations are like chicken or the egg, which comes first. And so,
Sure.
Do you have the food hub first, and does that mean then the farmers can see the potential and increase their crop yields, or because you can't get the farmers maybe to grow more if they can't sell it?
And even more that right now we've got a lot of waste, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
You have people coming to the farmers markets and things like that, but on days that they don't necessarily sell all their food, what do they do then? And
Sure.
so you either give it to their cows, or they give it to
it becomes pig food, food or something.
or fertilizer
Yeah.
or something else, or goes back into the field. So this gives another way, again, from the storage perspective, from a processing perspective, to help stop food waste as well, which is a great opportunity. And again, we'll give one more place for folks to be able to market and sell their products. And
Right.
so makes for a huge opportunity for our farming community on the smaller scale. Of course, we have NAPI that is a huge, but they have the infrastructure and the capabilities to handle all of that stuff
Right.
and market to much larger consumers than even our local consumers. So this is really built up to help those small entrepreneur farmers that are trying to get their product to market, trying to make a living off that, and really helping them accomplish that goal.
Could this spur more folks maybe to get back into farming, or if
very
they
much could
got out of it, if they could see the potential of having a market for their crops and things?
And two, it could help catalyze some new crops too. I think, especially as it's interesting, it dovetails with the outdoor recreation piece. A lot of what we're seeing out there is around the agricultural sphere in regards to the foodstuffs, the bars, the MREs, the freeze-dried, meals and things like that people take when they're camping.
Active people. I'm not familiar with them, but I'll take your word for it, Warren Unsicker, that I think they exist.
Yeah, they exist. They're out there.
I guess the astronauts eat them. But
yeah,
yes,
exactly. Astronaut ice cream stuff. But those types of things have raw product that they need. They have beans and corn that go into the whatever tortilla soup or whatever it is that you're putting water in and putting over your campfire, and those types of things are something that we can get into. And so if we can start having a way for farmers to know that they're going to have a place to bring their product, and likewise too for these businesses we're going out to and talking to at the outdoor recreation show, saying, look, we've got, don't have huge industrial producers of some of these products. We have lots of smaller producers that could probably meet your need on this level, producing apples or whatever it may be.
Right.
And so it helps catalyze that. So if we, do a, let's see, what all do we produce? We do beans, corn, millet, hay. Well, we make like a bran bar with some hay and some
right.
So no, but taking some of the local, the local corn.
We certainly have apples.
Producing tortillas. Apples, maybe do dried apple bar. I know I've seen a lot of those kind of single food bars, or 2 or 3 food bars that are dried fruit and nuts and a couple berries mixed in, and you call it good.
Sure.
Things that we can very feasibly produce here, and so I think there's a lot of opportunity for us as a community and as a industry sector to catalyze that kind of thing. So,
and a lot of folks who are listening and watching us this morning, Warren Unsicker, may think, well, it's like deja vu all over again, to quote Yogi Berra, because Farmington initially was a farming town.
You're correct. Yeah.
And so as we go back to our roots, and the idea being, well, how can we farm? We live in a desert. How is that possible? And again, we, unlike most other places in New Mexico, are blessed with the amount of water that we get in a given year. Now, this year we've had more than more than we've seen in a long time. But even in years of less water, there's usually enough to help with farming and things like that, more than we can say about other parts of the state.
Correct. Yeah, having 3 rivers flowing through this area does not hurt by any means. I know. I always like to mention this when I was interviewing for my job here. I looked at a bird's eye view and I was like, why are there crop circles in the desert?
That's right.
And I thought those were down in Roswell.
Where
the aliens put
circles,
them in.
those green circles.
So, it is something that people don't necessarily correlate with New Mexico or with Northwest New Mexico especially.
Right.
And so
we have a long history of farming.
yeah, absolutely. So we have to remind people of that heritage and the fact that we are perfectly capable and rather adept at agriculture up here.
Right.
Our orchards used to be as far as the eye can see out here. And
I would say some subdivisions probably still have a fruit tree in their backyard
Correct.
that used to be part of a producing orchard at one time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Back in the day. So
yeah.
it's an exciting idea. So this food hub is moving forward, and as we mentioned briefly, the city is talking with the college, I think, and trying to maybe redevelop the old roof shelter,
Right.
which is maybe a block or two off of downtown.
Correct. Yeah, great facility, very well done, nice building, and so it's going to be a not a heavy lift to convert it into something like this. And so we're in process of talking with the college about potential partnership and how we could help catalyze that space in that.
Very
building,
good.
so.
And I know for some folks who are listening, I want to make it clear that I believe there's grant funding to pay for all of these things.
Especially for the equipment. That's where the grant funding is coming in and helping with the food hub equipment and the kitchen equipment and things like that. And so that's what the college is working vehemently on, is trying to get all those grants put together and get those out.
Gotcha.
And so great opportunity for the community, and I'm really pleased that the college has pursued this, and glad that we can be a partner in the process. So.
It's exciting. And again, it has a lot of economic development opportunities connected to it. So that'll keep you busy.
Yeah, absolutely.
And hopefully you'll come back and keep us up to date.
Yes, indeed.
Wonderful.
Pleasure.
Warren Unsicker, we are out of time, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Safe travels to Denver.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You are welcome. That's Warren Unsicker, everyone. He is the City of Farmington's Economic Development Director, also in charge of ORI, the Outdoor Recreation Industry Initiative in San Juan County. My guest here on KSJE. This program is supported by San Juan Regional Medical Center, who's expanding its services to offer low-cost blood screenings all year round, now offering walk-in convenience to get the blood tests you want when you want them. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, is available in Farmington at the hospital's laboratory and the Outpatient Diagnostic Center on 30th Street. Also in Aztec at San Juan Health Partners Family Medicine at 120 Llanos Street. With nearly 20 tests available, there's an option for everyone. MyLabs, patient-ordered testing, a wellness service of San Juan Regional Medical Center. Did you enjoy that podcast? We hope that you did. And if you did, share it with your friends. And if you really want to keep podcasts like this coming, please support KSJE. You can do it easily online at ksje.com.